And good morning, everybody. Welcome. Hot Takes, Goodman and Renck. How are you, my friend?
Doing great. Getting used to the routine.
What are you doing for the Super Bowl? Are you someone that will go to a party if it's available, or would you rather watch the game at home?
I'd rather watch at home. I'm not great company when I'm watching games.
Are you just limiting it to watching games, not being great company?
Yeah, for now.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to be miserable around me. Watch me watching my kids' games. That's a few times in my life I've had to be rude to someone and say, "Listen, I'm sorry. I just flew 4 hours to watch my son have 3 at bats. I prefer to watch this one."
Right.
And not talk about the Broncos punter, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, it's funny because Mandy has a friend who lives up in your neck of the woods, which is about 50 minutes, plus from our houses from each other. And she's like, "Do you want to go?" I said, "No, I really don't want to be at a party where I can't really watch the game." And what I said to her was, "I'm not a great guy to be around when a game is on and I want to watch it. It's not that I'm trying to be rude. I just want to watch the game. That's pretty much it." And she goes, and I said to her, "Why don't you just go?" And she goes, "Well, how about if I just stay home?" I said, "Mandy, you're not going to watch the game with me anyway, because you're not really a football fan. Why don't you just go?" So we'll see if I have the house to myself during the Super Bowl. Now, if you are hosting a Super Bowl party, you don't have to do any cooking at all. Here is my suggestion. Go to Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. They're off of 36 in Pecos, and here's an idea for you. You can get something off their menu called the Big Kahuna Belly Buster. So what is that? It is a full slab of St. Louis ribs, a whole chicken, half pound of pulled pork, half pound of beef brisket, 4 large sides, and their sides are outstanding, from the homemade mac and cheese with a little panko on top to collard greens. It's all great. Those are part of the 4 large sides. Comes with 6 pieces of cornbread as well. And it only costs $95. For that type of quality and that type of price, chances are you can't do it yourself. So, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew, if you are hosting a Super Bowl party, and even if you're not, to me, it's not just the best barbecue spot in town. It is one of the best restaurants in town. Go check them out, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew off of 36th and Pecos. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
What an exciting game last night at Madison Square Garden. The Nuggets against the Knicks. Nikola Jokic, 45 minutes, another triple-double. Jamal Murray, 39 points. The Nuggets, though, have lost 3 of the 4 games that Jokic has been back. They have lost 3 games in a row. But I think the big story coming out of this game is another injury, and this one, once again, is significant. Peyton Watson pulled up with a hamstring. Not sure how long he is going to be out, but let's just make the assumption with a hamstring injury, it's going to be 4 weeks. Nothing just seems to go right for the Nuggets when it comes to injuries, but how significant is this one?
I mean, it hurts because you're trying to integrate all these parts, and Watson has been a revelation, and the number of injuries is starting to rival, dare I say it, the 22 Broncos. I mean, and I didn't mean the Avs last year, but Avs, that's a contact sport too. But the Broncos that year in 22, they set a record for hamstring injuries. I think Garett Bolles might have set the NFL record for hamstring injuries in the course of a calendar year. But hamstrings are the worst. My youngest son dealt with them. There's no magic formula. It's typically 4 weeks, whether you do dry needling, muscle relax. I mean, there's a million ways. But at the end of the day, as soon as you feel good, and you go back too soon, you go right back to it. You saw what happened with Gordon. So it stinks. It stinks. The only good thing is maybe it allows Cam Johnson to come back, get his feet underneath him as you bring back Watson. So both of them can be functional players. But there's really, I'm not even saying it's not a silver lining. It sucks. But maybe Cam Johnson can come back in his absence and give you some minutes and kind of get into some type of role so you can figure out how to use he and Watson together when they both are healthy.
Want to piggyback what you just said about Gordon. He got injured on the back end of a back-to-back. With that, Jokic is on a minutes restriction. He played 45 minutes last night. I understand David Adelman wanted to win the game. Christian Brown, I am guessing he is on a minutes restriction as well. He played 43 minutes. So, and is this a winning at all costs mentality? And is it worth it for David Adelman to play both guys with all those minutes in back-to-back games, knowing that Gordon got injured again with an injury to his hamstring on the back end of a back-to-back, despite the injuries going into the game, and then with Peyton Watson and Spencer Jones getting injured?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't
like it at all. It's very Michael Malone-ish to me.
Right. And Jokic nearly got hurt early in the game. He goes in out of bounds and he's holding his leg. You're like, oh my God, here we go again. He ends up playing 45 minutes. And according to my colleague Bennett Durando's story today, and I had texted him, 34 was the number. He blows past that to win a game in overtime in February. Makes no sense to me with the 3-time MVP. Brown has kind of put himself on a restriction of minutes based on his play.
Yeah.
But I'm not as worried about Brown. He needs the minutes. I wouldn't have played him as long either. That if it begins with a 4, that's too many minutes. That's playoff minutes. And so with Jokic, I don't like it because something's going on internally with the conditioning thing. Some of it's bad luck, but some of it is how you manage it. What are they doing pre and post game? What are they like? How are you managing it? Because here's the thing. When you tell someone they're going to be on a minutes restriction, typically, and I don't know this with the Nuggets, your rehab's being managed as that too. Like a pitcher, you're going to throw 50 pitches, then 75, then 100. Well, he could throw 100. Yeah, but the body's not ready. We're ramping you up. And so when you blow past it, I have no doubt Jokic could do it. But what is the fallout? What does it look like the next few days? Is he dragging ass? Is he limping? Is he favoring something? So Adelman, if I have one complaint about Adelman this year, it's how he managed the Gordon situation when he ended up with a hamstring reoccurrence. And last night with Jokic, it's one of those, it's a non-discussion. Assistant tells you, David, he's at 34, 35, he comes out. It's not a debate because you're protecting him to win a championship. Nobody gives a damn if you beat the Knicks in February. Like, again, they hadn't lost 3 all year. You're a competitive coach, but you have to protect the player from himself. The player's not going to put his hand up, especially Jokic, say, oh, coach, I'm good. I just reached my minutes. You have to be the adult in the room and say, nope, 34, you got to 35. Come sit next to me. We'll get him next time.
You and I had a spirited discussion. I think it was earlier this week or last week. The way my mind works when it comes to business is everything is long-term. Everything. There is nothing short-term. You got to look at the big picture on everything. So our disagreement was, should the Nuggets blow a hole and blow way past that second apron in order to re-sign Peyton Watson? You said yes. I said no. For me, I'm staying consistent with my long-term. But getting back to this particular game, long-term, and you just laid it out perfectly. It is a game against a non-conference opponent in February. What are you thinking? It doesn't make any sense to do that. And fortunately, Jokic did not get injured. I know they are dealing with a lot of injuries, but that's just not smart business, more or less smart basketball to do that.
Well, you're just letting the player dictate. It's the problem.
Yeah.
I used to watch this with Todd Helton all the time, and he's a Hall of Famer. But he would basically say, anytime he didn't see his name in the lineup, I'm fine, put me in the lineup, put me in the lineup. And it finally got to the point where physically he just couldn't play X number of games. But you're trying to protect the player from himself. And I want that. I want a guy that wants to be in there. I don't want him telling me, yeah, coach, I'm good. Give me 30 tonight. We love Jokic. But again, nobody's going to remember beating the Knicks in February to prevent a 3-game losing streak if Jokic isn't right come playoff time. Because, oh, yeah, he's got a lingering X factor, lingering this or that. And it kind of cropped up early February. We're going to be like, oh, my word. I mean, again, Adelman, he needs, if he's not cognizant of it, he needs one of his top assistants. I don't know who that would be in their chain of command, has to tell him he's got to come out, and he's got to come out now.
You know this as well as anyone covering sports in Denver as long as you have, and I do too. For those that don't know, it is harder to recover at altitude. Just is. Let's just get that out of the way. I had made this suggestion to Bruce years ago, and even as much as last year when it came to the Avs and all their injuries. I understand what I'm about to say. This is not apples to apples because they are different sports. Should the Nuggets, maybe even the Avalanche, set up a coffee meeting at Starbucks with Bo Lowry?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I here's the thing. I'd call him. You're right. I'd call him. I don't know everything Bo does. I don't. But I do know.
Well, it's an entire plan. It's a system from the ground floor, how to begin, and then how to manage throughout the season.
Right. And that was the problem with Hackett is the trainers, the PT people, and the coach and the practice schedule were not aligned. So if you're telling me my wide receiver is coming back from a ham, he's going to get 20 plays. Well, the coach is forgetting to tell him, well, 10 of those plays are going to be him running 9 routes. Like that's when you don't marry recovery to practice plan, you get injury and relapse. But I would call the difference is with football, it's the stop start.
Yep.
That's the difference. They're not in motion as long, but clearly they're doing something where I'd want to pick his brain just to see, because the one thing the Broncos have eliminated, knock on wood for the most part, are soft tissue injuries. In football, you're going to get hurt. It's 100% certainty. But Eric, they've eliminated the hamstring and the calf, that type of injury for the most part. Groin, hamstring, calf. Go back and look at the Broncos injury report the last couple of years. Some of it I question, but the reality is games weren't being missed. Guys were out there. And the thing with Peyton is it's not enough to be out there on Sunday. He wants them practicing. That's the thing he keeps track of that's more important to him. How many practice days are missed? Because just getting a guy to Sunday isn't helping either for a championship level team. But yes, pick up the phone, call him. And maybe you say, you know what, that doesn't really apply to our situation. But if you're the Nuggets, I think now's the time to start opening the mind up to just some different stuff. And it may be just terrible luck, but something needs to at least be, we need an open mind here. How many guys can get hurt, Eric? I mean, isn't this like the 6th guy? I mean, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, Christian Brown. I mean, just go down every guy, and the one guy who was hurt all the time is the one guy healthy, Jamal Murray.
Right. Now, I'm not suggesting at all that you don't want Nikola Jokic on the floor, but I'm looking at the last month or so. The Nuggets have been better without Jokic than they have been with him. They've lost 3 of 4. However, do you kind of look at that and say, let's kind of look at who they've played, right? They played Detroit on the road. They played New York on the road, and they had Oklahoma City at home. 3 of the top teams in the league. Or do you look at it as maybe the Nuggets just aren't ready to compete with those guys, but then you have to look at it and say they don't have a full roster either.
They're not ready to compete against those teams without Aaron Gordon. He's the glue guy that makes it work, and I don't know what that's going to look like with Gordon. The reason they struggle with Jokic coming back is they're not as good defensively when he's there. Right. So you're forcing the ball to him offensively, and that's fine. He deserved, but he shot like crap the last couple nights. He was 1 for 13 from 3. He and Jamal were 4 for 27 from 3. Yeah. The team was 13 for 50 from 3.
Yeah.
That is hard to believe. But they're obviously a much better team with Jokic. They're kind of struggling to incorporate all the pieces. They're not as good defensively when Jokic is on the floor, and Spencer Jones wasn't playing. Like their best defensive players are like Spencer Jones, Bruce Brown, and Aaron Gordon. So, but yeah, part of it's schedule. The reason they went 10-6 without Jokic, I predicted they could go 500 because the schedule was soft. I mean, Charmin soft. But now, harder games, but that's the danger. It is harder games, but Adelman's got to understand we're playing for to your point, we're playing for the longer goal here. This is the long play, the slow play. I don't need to, remember when JJ Redick beat the Nuggets last year in whatever month that was, and he was celebrating like he'd eliminated him from the March Madness. Right. They had the cheat. It was last February because I remember the next day I was at the Combine asking Michael Malone. We went to the Pacers game. Did they find the cheat code on Jokic? And he was like, give me a break. I mean, basically they played that game like it was game 7 of the finals. And that was pretty much like the high point of the Lakers season. So you got to be careful. You got to be really careful being too caught up in the results in the regular season. It just sucks because we're not going to know what this all looks like until guys get healthy. And now we got one of their best players out another month in Watson.
Let's take a hard right turn to the Nuggets' roommates at Ball Arena, the Avalanche. They, even though they won last night, even though they dominated with shots on goal, it's more about shots in goal. The score was 3-2 late into the third period. Right. The Avs were steamrolling teams early, and it looked like they were going to steamroll their way through the playoffs. You feel as confident right now, or is this just a slump that most great teams just go through every season?
I don't feel as confident, but part of the reason is most of this stretch, all of this stretch has been without Gabe Landeskog. And they're a much better team when he's on the ice and he's in the arena and he's the captain. They're different. I couldn't explain it to you, but they're a different team when he's part of it. That's number one. Number two is the power play's got to get solved. They have got to become functional on the power
Suggestion for you. This is going to seem so ridiculous, so outrageous. It's worth just putting it out there anyway. I have a suggestion for Jared Bednar, and every hockey person is going to say that I'm absolutely crazy. It's going to be, Eric, you don't know the fuck about hockey when I say this. I've covered 4 NHL teams, and maybe it is a dumb idea. But you know what? This idea that I have as I'm setting this up was proven last night. Here's my suggestion. Right when the Avs go on the power play, have one of the players flip the puck over the benches, and now it's a 4-on-4. What happened last night? They scored on a 4-on-4. Their percentage scoring is higher 4-on-4 than it is power play. Last year, they fired their power play coach, their special teams coach. It hasn't gotten any better. One reason why I think they struggle on the power play is they have so much skill in the offensive zone. They play with their food. They get too cute with the puck, looking for the perfect pass. And sometimes you just got to put the puck on net, let Val stand in front of the net, let somebody else stand in front of the net, and get, as they say in hockey, a greasy goal. But if somebody wants to argue with me about flipping the puck over the bench to go 4-on-4, I'll just show you the numbers, and my numbers back up my case.
Yeah, it would be remarkable if that were the answer. And it's sad that that's even a suggestion, given how poor they are in the power play. I mean, how could a team that is this talented offensively with a one-man advantage be at the bottom or bottom third of the power play? Some of it's Mikko Rantanen. They missed his left-handed shot. He balanced the power play. Some of it's the diamond and what they use. But you identified it for me. They get too cute. Like the time and time, it's like we're waiting for the one perfect shot. They're like the guy with the gun. Like, I'm going to get one shot. No, you're not. Just unload the clip. Like, get it to the net. And that's where the criticism of the Avs in the playoffs is at times is they can't win ugly. They can't win grimy. They can't win in front of the net. And that's what I want to see with their power play at some point is it's not the perfect one-timer. It's just boom, slam to the net and bow, boom, boom, rebound, and finally it goes in. We just don't really see that with this team. And if that power play doesn't get fixed, we know where this story ends. Heartbreak in the playoffs. That's the problem. It's like a missed field goal. Like you're setting yourself up in close games. If you can't convert in those situations, then you're in trouble. Now they saved themselves because they're really good on the penalty kill. That helps balance it. But come on now. It's just they got to figure it out. This Olympic break, priority one beyond health is what in the hell can we do to goose our power play? Because they're going to get their heart broken if they're not careful, if they don't fix it.
I'm going to double down on the flip the puck over the bench routine. Number one, if it's a 5-on-4, other team can ice it as many times as they want to. And what I mean by it won't be called as icing. 4-on-4, it is. You have Makar and McKinnon out there in open ice, 2 of the fastest guys in the league. You can set up in the offensive zone not only quickly, but you don't have to worry about trying to get it through the neutral zone as well. You're going to be able to set up pretty quickly. All I'm suggesting are just look at the numbers, 4-on-4 against 5-on-4. Jared Bednar would never do that, but I don't think it's such a crazy idea. With that, who do you feel more confident about right now as we are getting ready to go into the playoffs in a couple of months? The Avalanche or the Nuggets?
I feel more confident about the Avalanche.
Wow, you said that with a lot of conviction. You sold me there, right?
Listen, I picked one of these two teams to win it for months.
Right.
This last month, the Avs are now, you do my math here, I think they're 6-7-2 in their last 15. And there's been about 5 ugly losses in that group. Not, losing 1-0 on a puck luck. It's not been that. And so the power play we identified and the inability to get shots on the net all of a sudden is a little unnerving. I still say the Avs I feel more confident in. They're a better team. They put themselves in a better position. And, their goalie play outside, again, this stretch hasn't been great, but they have the goalies. I feel more comfortable there. My issue with the Nuggets, and I'm going to go back to it, it's not just the overall arcing theme of injuries, but when you've got the medical records are basically piling up like an episode of ER, that I don't trust that Aaron Gordon can play 16 games in the playoffs.
Right. And
if he can't, I can't with a straight face. Come on, Eric, straight face. You're telling me the Nuggets are going to beat OKC with Gordon only available for 3 games in a 7 game? There's no way. There's no way. Those teams are better than them. You've got to be at full strength and absolutely red line, full throttle. And we haven't seen that version. So I go Avs. What do you say? What say you?
People who gamble on sports, and I gamble on sports every once in a while, not a lot. There are 2 consistent narratives with people who bet on sports. They will tell you when they win, and they will also scream at the tallest 14er about all of their bad beats. And I've had more than a few bad beats this year.
There was one last night, the UNLV hoops game, where Fresno State went on a 7-0 run with 5 seconds left.
I'm going to tell you about the complete opposite of what a bad beat is, where I got more puck luck than you can possibly imagine. Did a 5-leg parlay. One of the legs was Nichushkin with a point. Check. Got that one early. Ross Colton, 3 shots on goal. Had to wait a while for that one. But then the other 3 legs, the Avs score at least 4 goals, win by a goal and a half, and Brock Nelson gets a point. I got all 3 on that empty netter. All 3. So with about 45 seconds to go, I'm thinking the only way, listen, I'm thinking I'm cooked when they were about to call a penalty on the Avalanche. Remember that? And then they turned it around and it wasn't a penalty. And I'm thinking if they keep this penalty, I'm done. And then when they reversed and the call, I'm thinking, okay, I've got a shot. I know Brock Nelson's going to be on the ice. All he needed was a point. But I'm thinking, in this case, it's not going to be an assist. It'll likely be a goal because of, the net is wide open. And it wasn't a great angle on that goal. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. After that potential penalty, I'm like, did I just win this bet? So that's why I'm telling you about it. But I will not tell you about any of the losses, like all gamblers. I will tell you about the wins. I'll tell you about the bad beats, but I'll certainly tell you about this one as well.
So you believe in the Avs? Is that your answer?
No, I'm saying I got very, very lucky with a bet. That's all I'm saying. I hit 3 legs with 45 seconds to go because they all tied together. With that, I want to dive into Garett Bolles, who received a significant award yesterday. And after his rookie season, could you have imagined, fast forwarding to today, that Garett Bolles would be the Garett Bolles that we are seeing right now? That's next.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. All their locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook, great hangout bar, great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a pair of snowmobiles or nearly $18,000 in cash the weekend of February 20th. It's your choice what you want, the 2 snowmobiles or the cash. Earn daily entries with every locked-up jackpot or by redeeming points on your player card. You can also earn a chance to win during their daily cash drawings every 45 minutes between 10 a.m. and midnight. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, great promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
And welcome back. Hot Takes. Goodman and Renck want to tell you about Roller Auction, the leader in Colorado auctions for over 50 years. Today, Larkspur Outlet will be having an auction for structure wood, fencing, decking, bathroom, kitchen, and laundry room accessories, plus light fixtures, contractor tools, and more. Bidding is started at rollerauction.com. They have a lot of amazing auctions coming up next week. You got to check out the website, rollerauction.com. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. Your family should trust the Ferguson family for all your heating and cooling needs, and you'll see why they have over 165 5-star Google reviews. Make an appointment today at fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
I know this happened earlier this week, but I'd be remiss if we didn't bring it up. Garett Bolles is the NFLPA's Alan Page Award winner, which is similar to the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award, which goes to the player for community service. The Alan Page Award is the highest honor presented by the NFL Players Association. With that, when Bolles finished his rookie season, could you have ever imagined that we'd be talking about him as an all-pro, first-team tackle, and an award winner for the NFLPA's highest award all these years later?
Not all-pro and not here. I do believe that he would have won community awards no matter where he played, given his desire and motivation to give back, and it's been amazing. But
do me a favor. I can do it, but I'll have you do it. Explain what, and I know what it is. Explain what his motivation is to help in the community.
Well, again,
give it some context.
Yeah, a really rugged childhood, kicked out of the house. Parents' issue was a mess, and he gets adopted in high school. He ends up finding faith through that, goes on a mission. He was a lacrosse player. He was an outstanding lacrosse player in high school. He outgrew the role.
Yeah.
But he barely played tackle football when he went JUCO and then to Utah and then to the Broncos. That was part of the reason why he struggled like he did as a rookie, you know, and he got the nickname about his holding penalties. I talked to his wife, Natalie, last summer, Eric, And she told me that first year when she went to the games, she hated it, and she'd take a blanket and she'd hide her head underneath, and she struggled to watch the game because he was having such a difficult time, and people are booing him in ways that were, the vitriol was real. Let's put it that way. I don't know of another professional athlete in Denver that's executed a U-turn on his career in Denver. I'm talking guys have left Denver and it's happened. I don't know another one that's done this, where worst player, most hated player on the team, booed, doesn't get his rookie option picked up. It's all pointing to he's going to leave, then gets a new contract, then a second new contract, then a third new contract, longest tenured Bronco, all pro. And oh, by the way, he has married himself to the community through his work with the Juvenile Detention Center, which he's had experience with personally.
Right.
And he created his own school for kids with speech development issues that his son Kingston has endured his entire life. I mean, the guy's amazing. But to your point, the answer is simply no. But I do, as the all-pro part, I do think he would have been involved in the community wherever he played. I honestly believe that. But I have no one could have saw this turnaround. But it all happened with COVID. That's when he came all-pro the first time. That's when his career started to turn. He and Mike Munchak. And then it's just but he used to be like offensive line dependent or quarterback dependent. Now Garett's just a great player. I think he's going to win the Protector of the Year award. I don't know if that's been announced yet.
No, it has not.
It's kind of a hokey award, but I think he's going to win it for the best lineman in football this year.
I'm going to add on to that, and feel free to back it up or, give me some pushback on this. For as much as he was disliked in the stands at Empower Field, he was equally as disliked in that offensive line room. His teammates were not crazy about him at all. They looked at him as a cocky kid who would not listen to coaching. And I was told that by some of his teammates. They looked at him like, dude, we know that you are athletic, but you just don't take to coaching. And one reason why you are struggling is because you think you know everything. And it is amazing to me to see his growth as a leader in that locker room, as much as what he has done in the community, what he has done playing on the field, because that was a complete U-turn as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. Part of the issue was, because I was covering the team when he was drafted, he basically was given the starting job.
Right.
That's difficult with linemen because they always want to believe in earn it. So he gets the job basically from the moment he's drafted. He's going to be the starting left tackle. That creates angst, and if not angst, jealousy. And then in the meeting rooms, the coaches would not criticize him in the same way because they felt like he wasn't ready to be coached hard. And so he basically had his own coach. The assistant line coach was essentially the Garett Bolles coach. Guys hated that. And then you go to the practice field, he'd make a mistake. They'd try to correct it, and he would stamp around and throw his helmet. And he just wasn't mature enough yet.
Correct.
I mean, that's a simple reason. But Garett, through faith, family, humility, became coachable. And Mike Munchak was a huge part of that.
Well, he began it. It began with Munchak because the other coaching just didn't work for him. And this would be a shout out to anybody who is a coach or is a leader. You cannot coach everybody the same way. Garett Bolles needs a hug and a pat on the tush far more than a kick in the ass. Right. You kick him in the ass, he will just shut down on you. If you coach him with compassion and love and patience, this is what you get.
Right. But it takes skill as a coach to understand that. And how do you unlock that box with each player? One of the things that's said about Sean Payton, and I've talked to multiple of his ex-players from New Orleans, they say about Sean Payton, he doesn't treat, this is what they say about him. He treats everybody the same. He does not coach everybody the same.
Right.
That's the mark of a great coach, because what you need, Eric, might not be what I need. I can take the yelling and the screaming, and I get motivated by fear, for instance, if that's the case, where you need someone to put their arm around you and tell you they believe in you. And I know from coaching kids for the better part of 15 years, kids today, and I'm not saying he's a kid, but he was relatively young in his football life. They don't respond to the screaming and yelling like the old way of, you're going to do it this way because I said so. Well, they go to the internet and say, I want to know why we do this in practice.
Right.
Why are we? They're so smart now. You have to coach them in a way that we're doing this to make you better because it makes you faster on third down. They want to know. You can't just say, run a lap because I said so. Those days are over. Yeah. And most guys want to be coached hard. They want you to be honest with them, but some guys need to know you believe in them, and then they will believe in you. Not every player, but I can tell you with kids, the best success I've had with kids is making they know I want them to succeed. I love you, man, but then you got to give me it back. Like, I'm going to believe in you, but you got to believe in yourself. And Bolles turned the corner. And again, we may, another 50 years from now, when you and I are gone, there may never be another story like Garett Bolles on the Broncos. It's just remarkable.
See, Ring of Famer?
He is now for me. They just needed some more team success.
Yeah.
He needed, he's got a couple of All-Pros, a couple of Pro Bowls. Now he's got enough at one of the toughest positions, and he's the longest tenured left tackle in the history of the franchise, I believe. I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah.
But I believe he is. So that for me now with some playoff success, I think for me, he's a Ring of Famer.
I mean, listen, I cannot go back and tell you about the Broncos teams of the 70s in great detail, or the 80s or 90s. I can talk about it fluently, but not with great detail. Gary Zimmerman is clearly the best left tackle in the history of this franchise.
Yeah, but he only played here like 3 years too. So
well, I understand that, but he's the greatest left tackle in the history of this franchise, and he was part of 2 Super Bowl teams. Yeah. He was a reason why, one reason why Terrell Davis was able to run the way that he did. With that, Ryan Clady was on that trajectory, but injuries derailed him. Would you make the case that Garett Bolles is the second best left tackle in the history of this franchise?
He's got that argument. I mean, he just does. I don't know where Zimmerman is by far the best, but he just was here such a brief time. Right. He's not even considered a Bronco. I mean, he's considered a Viking, if we're being honest. If he had to put a cap on like Cooperstown, he'd be wearing a Vikings cap.
Is it because of 3 years?
Yeah. I mean,
well, Manning was only here 4 years. Yeah, Lynch was only here 4 years.
You have to be 4 to even be eligible for the Ring of Fame.
Correct. I get it.
Zimmerman's not even eligible for the Ring of Fame. So is Zimmerman a better player than Bolles? Yes, he is. Yeah. 100%. But as it relates to the Broncos, I would say Bolles is the most important left tackle they've had. He's not the best left tackle they've had, if that makes sense. Because I do think the community thing matters. I do. I mean, the guy is unreal. I've been at his camps. I've never seen a player, maybe Dalton Reisner, but how he interacts with kids at camps and personalizes it. I'm a Garett Bolles fan, and I'm not afraid to say it, just because of the man. Take the football out of it.
All right. I will Zelle you $20 right now if you can answer this question. Only one player in the history of the NFL has won the Alan Page Award, which used to be the Byron Whizzer White Award. Only one player has ever won. Do not be looking it up on your computer now. I can see your hands moving and your eyes shifting away from the screen here as you get ready to type in the answer. There's only been one player that has won the Alan Page Award and the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. Who is it and what year was it? And I put this out on social media about 3 days ago, which clearly, if you actually followed me on any social media platforms, you would know. But you don't, because you don't respect the work that I do. I get it.
That's true. That's obvious. I want to say it's a quarterback because the quarterback.
It's not. I'll give you a hint. It was a kicker in the 1980s. Narrowing it down, 1983.
Mark Mosley.
Rolf Benershka of the San Diego Chargers.
Rolf Benershka. Wasn't he in Pet Detective with Jim Carrey?
I am not sure. I like Jim Carrey, but I don't watch a lot of his movies. One more thing before we end the show. Is Garett Bolles a cautionary tale of don't give up on a guy too soon? And you know what? Even though this guy's career went up faster than Garett Bolles, What did we say about Nick Bonito after year one?
Yeah.
Man, now I understand that he was a second-round pick, but he was also the Broncos' first pick in that draft. I don't think people were ready to give up on Nick Bonito, but I think people were thinking, what kind of pick was that? Second year, he was considerably better. But is it a cautionary tale that sometimes you have to nurture a guy in the right way to get the most out of him?
What it is for me is a reminder that you put a coaching staff together that's capable of developing players. You would be shocked how many NFL coaching staffs aren't that great. They're just not.
I'm not shocked at all.
I was talking to an NFL player about this the other week, 2 weeks ago, and he was laughing to me about how bad his coaching was at one of his previous teams. It was like comparable to high school. And that's the point. It's not a cautionary tale as much of a reminder. As much as people want to wear Sean Payton about everything, it feels like his play calling is the mole on Cindy Crawford at times that we cannot get over. The fact is, he understands personnel. He drafts to a blueprint. He has a vision for every player. And I'm not giving him credit for Bolles, but that's why a guy like Nick Bonito can develop, is you put coaches with them that develop guys. You put coaches with them to say, first year special teams, spot starter, second year starter, third year Pro Bowl. Like, these are the way they see it. But you have to have depth to do that. Part of the reason people give up on young players is they play too soon. They're not ready. This happens more at quarterback than any position. They get exposed and nobody has patience.
Right.
Look at why the same teams draft in the top 5 every year. Jets, Browns. I mean, go down the list. It's like Titans. It's like these same 5 teams because they turn it over every year. They're like the weight loss. Give me the pill. Give me the secret pill.
Right.
They won't put in the work. But it is a cautionary tale in the regards to you need to be patient, especially with higher round picks, but you have to have coaches that can develop.
Correct.
They don't
Well,
develop because you put water on them like plants. Somebody's got to coach them.
I'll give you 2 quarterbacks that universally everybody gave up on. One guy is playing in the Super Bowl in Sam Darnold, and the other guy, people were like, really? Daniel Jones. Everybody gave up on both of those guys, but with the right coaching, both guys have turned out to be more than pretty good quarterbacks.
And what do they have in common? They played in New York, and the Giants and the Jets are the 2 worst franchises in football over the last 5 years.
Right.
That's not opinion, that's fact.
So with
offense, coaching, every metric, those 2 franchises stink.
So now you have more than a few Broncos fans who are shitting all over a guy because he didn't have a good rookie season. Jahdae Barron. What I would say to those people is this. Let's give it some time, like we needed to do with Bolles, like we needed to do with Bonito. Make your evaluation 3 years in, and let's see what happens after that. And for Bolles, it was 4 years in, right? For Bolles, he was drafted in 2017. He finally had a great season in 2020. It took him even longer.
You're not going to win that argument because, and I was one that was there on draft day, Jahdae Barron was a luxury pick. They needed to go offense with that pick. It has nothing to do with Jahdae Barron. He's going to be fine. He's going to eventually be a starting corner for them at some point. This season, they would have had a chance to reach the Super Bowl if that pick had been a tight end or a running back. That was my issue from jump. They didn't need another corner. And I don't think they totally understood what they had in Chris Abrams' Drain.
Right.
I think Drain and Barron this past year are very similar players.
Yeah, but the top 2 tight ends in the draft last year were gone by then.
No, the running backs weren't.
Oh, Omari and Hampton?
Travion Henderson?
Yeah.
You want him over R.J. Harvey? I get he got 12 touchdowns. He was not a factor in the run game for 7
I would
years.
agree. I would totally agree.
The issue with Barron is not Barron. It's why didn't you go offense? That's
Right.
And I will stay on that. That was a luxury pick because he was best player available.
Yeah, no, I'm not debating that. I'm not debating who they should have picked.
Right,
What
no,
I'm
I
saying is people are looking at Jahdae Barron and saying the guy didn't even play.
Right. In this last game in the AFC Championship, he was completely a ghost.
Yeah.
That's hard when you're like, man, it's really cool to have another offensive weapon.
That's
And
going to
it's
do
not
it.
personal. It's not personal with Barron. It's not.
I know.
But that's why you get pushback on that.
Yeah. I'm just talking about the way he played in his rookie season, having nothing to do with who they took.
Right.
I mean, how many people said back in the day they should have taken Justin Fields over Pat Surtain? I wasn't a fan of Justin Fields at Ohio State. So it's not that I thought Surtain should have been the pick, although I know he was great at Alabama. I just strongly felt Justin Fields should not have been the pick.
Well, it's always going to, if you like a quarterback and can develop him, that's the great multiplier. An average quarterback is worth more than a great cornerback. That's the NFL. But it's turned out right because of all that failure, led him to Wilson, which eventually led him to Sean Payton, which led him to Bo Nix.
That is the greatest circular logic I've ever heard. Let's end on that. Hot takes, Goodman and Renck, make it the best possible day you can.